Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed. Sina Ghaznavi is here. Do you watch like the NAACP Image Awards and stuff like that?
I've seen the clips online. They're on my Instagram. I've seen a bunch. Yeah.
Did you see the Wayans family?
No. What they say?
Okay. Oh, so they got the they got the Chairman's Award. No, Kamala Harris got the Chairman's Award. I was going to play her whole clip. It was really inspiring. Matter of fact, let's tweet it out because it's 4 minutes long. And we don't have a whole lot of time. And I want to take callers, and Nikki Porcher is going to be here later. But the Wayans family really inspired me because as we are doing a blackout tomorrow, I'm calling it a day of absence, but I think it can expand into so much more. When people tell you what you can't do, if you have a vision and the wherewithal to do it, and Keenan Ivory Wayans did, in spite of his family, his parents probably thinking he was crazy, to now see the family, all of them just about on stage except for Sean, and Keenan wasn't there either. But that stage was full of Wayans, and even in the audience, with one man with a vision. You know, I smile about that because I think that's the job, right? You get into a position, you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. That one tree gave us so much good fruit, you know. And as a person in the workplace, if you are starting a business, you should have so much good fruit to show for your work. But I love the honoring, and I just want to play a few clips from the speech. I think the first one is Damon giving honor. Play that. Let's see.
On May 5th, 1965, my brother Keenan Ivory and I watched young Richard Pryor make his television debut on The Ed Sullivan Show. Richard was animated and hilarious with very clean comedy routine. While I was seeing a funny comedian, Keenan was seeing his future. From that day on, Keenan was dead set on being just like Richard Pryor. I can still remember my mother yelling, "Keenan, that skinny boy's on TV again." And Keenan was 6 months away from an engineering degree at Tuskegee when he learned that the Improvisation Comedy Club was less than 2 miles from the projects we grew up in. So in 1975, Keenan first walked on stage at the Improvisation Club to pursue his dreams of being a stand-up comic. My brother worked hard at it, spending most of his nights going club to club just to get some stage time to perfect an act. I can still feel the pride of watching him on stage. Of course, I was underage, but Keenan was so funny and loved by fellow comedians and club owners that they let me in to watch him. So in 1980, Keenan and his best friend, fellow comedian Robert Townsend, they drove across country in a rented U-Haul, determined to make it big in Hollywood.
And that didn't go well with my mama. I remember she sat him down and he was we had a broken dryer, and in the projects, when something's broken, you just make a different use for it. So now it was our kitchen table. And my mother, Keenan told Ma he's leaving college to go be a comedian. My mother said, "A comedian? Boy, I've known you your whole life. You ain't never said nothing funny." "You a comedian? That's the funniest thing you ever said." She said, "At least have a backup plan." And my brother Keenan was like, "There's no backup plan in success. It's comedy or nothing." And needless to say, my family was over the moon. When Keenan first got his stand-up appearance on Johnny Carson, we all watched on a black and white TV in our kitchen. And I remember it was a tube television. The antenna was broken, so we had a hanger in there for an antenna. And
a fork to change the
channels. And we watched my brother do stand-up comedy on that television. From that day on, me as a child, I sat there and I was like, wow, you mean not only can you dream, but you can make your dreams come true.
That was, of course, Marlon's voice at the end, but it was Keenan seeing Richard Pryor on national television when we all had to only have like a couple of channels. There was no cable. There was no outlets. This week, Joy-Ann Reid signed off for the last time on MSNBC, a mainstream news cable outlet. And I said on these airwaves, now is an opportunity to build our own, because unlike Keenan and unlike Richard Pryor, there are a plethora of opportunities out here to build and grow platforms from whole cloth. And she doesn't have whole cloth. She's got millions and millions of followers, and it's a lot easier, even though it's hard, but we don't have to get in a U-Haul and drive across the country. And they go on to talk about how broke, Keenan was, where they thought he was rich. They would go out to California to see him. But it's an opportunity, I think. You can only be as big as you can see. And sometimes we need to see ourselves. A brother called up this week and said he remembers my column in the New York Daily News when he was a kid, the paper, when people used to read the paper. That was a very special time when everybody bought a paper. Today, it's social media, it's the internet. Like when I say I'm going to be everywhere, I'm not leaving any platform, because you don't know what entree somebody will have to get some of the information that you want to put out into the world. But you have to be very intentional, getting back to that, about what it is that you want to say to people. But I love this story, and the acceptance speeches were so beautiful. But that we get to see all of the Wayans and their different iterations. Damon now has Papa's House, which I think just got picked back up on CBS, and Marlon's doing all of these things and stand up, and his cousins and all sons now, grandchildren. But it's beautiful to be inspired, and I think that that was what I took away from it. A little boy looking at Richard Pryor built an empire.
The Wayans family is why I'm in comedy. In Living Color, a lot of kids, a lot of people in my generation of comedy will point to SNL, but I actually was an In Living Color kid through and through all the time. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. I watched that movie, probably too young, but I watched that movie so many times. I mean, that movie is etched in me. I love that movie.
When she started taking off her body parts.
Oh, the body parts, the hair.
Yeah, yeah. That and was it Huggy Bear? Oh, I know him as Huggy Bear with the goldfish. Yes, like there were just so many moments. But that's what it looks like to have agency in the midst of the freedom to be able to create and not capitulate to the whims of somebody that doesn't see you as whole human anyway. Mm-hmm. This is my message. Like, let's stop folding ourselves into smaller versions with the hopes that they'll see us. They may never see us, and they don't have to. It's okay. They'll figure it out, or they won't. South Africa, I was just playing a clip yesterday about how, apartheid was expensive. It cost the white racists a lot, because they were missing out on so many things that now they get to enjoy, and they still own most of the wealth. So it's a trick, it's a trick. Sharing actually gives you more abundance. Anyway, I'm going to say less about that.
Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is Awesome, a new podcast from Karen Hunter.